Hello, followers of my YouTube channel. Welcome to today's tutorial on derivation of a unit hydrograph from an isolated storm hydrograph. So in today's tutorial, we will see how to derive or how to generate a unit hydrograph from an isolated storm hydrograph. So the first thing here you should have to know is about separation of the measured hydrograph into direct runoff hydrograph and base flow. The second thing is calculation of direct runoff volume by integrating the direct runoff hydrograph. And thirdly, you should have to know about calculations of direct runoff depths by dividing the direct runoff volume by the catchment area. You should have to know those things. And on the fourth section, you should have to calculate the unit hydrograph ordinates by dividing the ordinates of the direct runoff hydrograph by the direct runoff depths. And finally, we should have to read about estimations of the unit hydrograph durations. So you should have to follow those steps in order to derive a unit hydrograph from an isolated storm hydrograph. So actually, this is applications of the convolution method that help us to generate a unit hydrograph. Okay, we may have those rainfall data, or precipitation data in the unit hydrograph at some time t. Yes, so for instance, we have time here, and we have those precipitation and unit hydrograph components. So for the first time, should have a component of h1 times un, and for the second time you should have h1 times u2 in the likes. But when we proceed with this second precipitation data with this unit hydrograph at time t, there is some lag. Should have to lag the first time, and should have to start at the second time, with h2 times un, h2 times u2, h2 times u3 in the like. And thirdly, if you have a third precipitation data h3, and you should have to lag the first and the second time, and you should have to start on the third time, on the third time as h3 times un, h3 times u2 in the like. And finally, you should have to sum those values, and you should have obtained a total hydrograph ordinates in such a way. Okay, so this is the application of convolution method. So if you summarize this in such a way, the first discharge, that is Q1, Qi is actually Hj, Hj times Ui minus j plus 1. That means, for instance, if you have Q1 from the previous one, from this one, this one is actually Q1. So this Q1 is H1 times U1, and this is Q2 in time at time t2, so that is H1 U2 plus H2 UN. And the third Q3 is H1 times U3, H1 times U3 plus H2 times U2 plus H3 times UN. In such a way, you can have these values. And finally, we have, for instance, for the Q10, it depends on your work. It is H3 times U8 is values of this Q10. And actually, the total number of ordinates of the unit hydrograph is given by this n minus m plus 1. And we have 10 discharge values, that is n. And m means that is the number of precipitation records. Actually, for this case, we have three records, h1, h2, and h3. So plus 1 is the number of ordinates, that is 8. 8. So that means the unit hydrograph proceeds up to u8. You can see from the previous one. We can proceed up to u8. So in such a way, we can estimate the components of the total hydrograph. So from this you can estimate the values of the unit hydrograph. For instance, from this you can get U1 if Q1 is known, and if U1 is known, you can substitute here, and you can get this U2 if this Q2 is known. In such a way, in such a manner, we can do, we can determine the values of the unit hydrograph components. You can see here U1 equals Q1 H1, so G2 is Q2 minus H2 plus. In such a way, as I have told you before, you can use this method of substitution forward, and similarly you can use the methods of substitution backward. That means we can start from this one. You can get this Q10, then you can get U8, the first value, then back to proceed to Q9 and substitute the values of the value here for the case of U8. So we can get the remaining unknown values is U7 and the like. So that is why this backward substitution is also suggested. So you can use those methods. But the most applicable method here is using the matrix method. So we can summarize what we have saying before as in such a way. For instance, we have H1, H2, and H3 up to that means Hn. So we can rewrite the matrix in such a way, for the precipitation, and you can multiply using the these components of the unit hydrograph, that is U1, U2, U3 up to Un minus n plus 1. That is, as we have indicated before here, the number of ordinates of the unit hydrograph is n minus n plus 1. That is why we are proceeding up to Un minus n plus 1. Okay, but for the case of this H, we can proceed up to Hm. And for the case of Q, we can proceed up to Qm. Q when up to that of Qm plus 1. All right. So if you have this, options, I mean up to Qn, this Q is up to n. So in summary, say that this one is represented by H, or we can say P, that is the precipitation value times the unit hydrograph component here, equals the discharge. If you multiply precipitation by U, that is the unit hydrograph component, we can get Q. So if you multiply both sides by H transpose, we have this H transpose times Q equals H transpose times U times H times U, because we are multiplying both sides by H transpose. After that, you can get this U as that of H transpose times H inverse, because if you divide both sides by H transpose times H divided by this, over this one, over this value. So that means the inverse of H transpose times H transpose times Q. So we can obtain the values of this unit hydrograph component using this equation. In a simple way. Okay, so this is a way of obtaining the components or derivations of unit hydrograph from that of an isolated storm hydrograph. In this case, we have only records of two precipitations, two precipitation values. After that, we can generate the remaining values. The remaining values. So let us see within this example. Before that, you should have to know about the matrix. About matrix, you should have to know about matrix. For instance, how to multiply matrix. What are ways of, for instance, we may have this 1 2 3 by 3 matrix, or this may be like 10 by 1 matrix and the like. So you should have to know how to multiply a matrix, and how to transpose a matrix, how to determine the inverse of a matrix, and the likes. Okay, so having this, let us see some example here, one example. And we have these precipitation values. This is actually H2, and this one is actually this one is H1, and this is H2, yeah, H2. And here is the area of the watershed, yeah. This is the area of the watershed in square kilometer. But when you are working with this unit hydrograph, you should have to convert it into in millimeter, yeah. The discharge is in meter cube per second, and should have to convert it into millimeter per day, yeah. So actually we have this data, the discharge in meter cube per second, and when we are converting it into millimeter per day, we have this data. We have this data in millimeter per day, yeah, this in meter cube per second, because you should have to this one is actually the numbers of we have the number of seconds in a day, yeah, in one day. Therefore we have this discharge actually. Okay, we have provided this discharge, but the precipitation value is this H1 is 62 and H2 is 61. So if you have this record, actually from this you can get that M is 1, yeah, I mean 2. M is from this M equals M is 2, because this one, and N, the numbers of N here is N is, you can count this one, yes, our count is 10, yeah, N is 10, you can see. Therefore the ordinate here is, yeah, how much? 10 minus M plus 1, 2 plus 1. Therefore we should have 9 ordinates. Therefore you can see that you can proceed up to 9. Okay, up to 9. This one is 10, but on this side you can have 9. You can see that in such a way. Okay, so having this, we can proceed the remaining task. Okay, the first thing you should have to do is you should have, as you have seen here, you should have to prepare H1, H2, 0, 0, and the like, H1, H2, H1, H2, H1, H2, H1, H2, and the like, yeah. So you can prepare your matrix in such a way. So this is the first matrix P. The matrix P is, or you can say H is 10 by 9 matrix. This is a 10 by 9 matrix. Okay, you can have this one. Let me illustrate it into another Excel. Let me copy this. Okay, and the matrix is this one. This is the matrix P. This is a matrix P, and okay, so this matrix is actually 10 by 9 matrix. You can say that times 10 by 9 matrix. Okay, so after that you can have this general equation. Okay, so you should have to know about this. You can say that this one is simply not P, or you can rewrite as H. Okay, let me say H. And we are required to determine the transpose of this matrix. Okay, H transpose, H transpose. Okay, so in order to determine the transpose of the matrix, so you should have to copy this one, copy this, and proceed to where you are, where you want to transpose the matrix. Right click here, proceed under this paste special, under this paste values all, and say that transpose. Okay, so now we are transposing our matrix. Before we are transposing our matrix is 10 by 9 matrix, but now our matrix is our matrix is 9 by 10. You can see under this cell, okay, the how much you can see that the 9 by 10 matrix. Yeah, you can observe under this. Therefore this is 9 by 10 matrix. I mean, you can see that this one is actually 9. Yeah, this one is 9 by 10 matrix. And the second thing here is you should have to multiply the transposes with the initial value. You should have to multiply that value. Okay, so sorry. So when you multiply, other thing here is you should have to multiply that. Okay, here equals, here is H transpose times H. Okay, H transpose by H. So when you multiply a matrix, for instance, this 10 by 9 matrix, we have this 10 by 9 matrix here, and here we have a 9 by 10 matrix. So when you multiply that, you should get 10 by 9 matrix. Okay, let us see that how the size of the matrix after we are multiplying. So to do that, you can see here, for instance, okay, let me show you here. So the first matrix is P is 9 by 10 matrix, the P transpose is 9 by 10 matrix. Yeah, and the P transpose times P is the 9 by 9 matrix. You see, you can take this one from the first matrix, and you can take the last one from the second matrix. That means from this, for instance, the first one is yeah, 10 by 9, and the second one is 9 by 10. Yeah, but the first we are multiplying this H transpose by H. The first is this one. You should have take the first one, this H transpose. Okay, so that means 9 by 10. Yeah, should have to take first this one times the other is 10 by 9. So finally we can get, we have how much? This 9 by 9 matrix. We have a 9 by 9 matrix. So you should have to take in such a way. Therefore you should have to select a 9 by 9 matrix here. You can observe under this one how much cells you are selecting. So I think it is 7 by 9, 8 by 9, 9 by 9 matrix. So after you are selecting it, just say equal. We are multiplying the inverse of the H, that is H transpose times H. Okay, transpose value times the original value. So we are multiplying a matrix, so you can say that M mult. Okay, because we are working on matrix, so double click on it and select this one. The first one is that is H transpose, this value, select that. You can use Ctrl plus Shift and in draw, you can select in such a way, close the bracket, and in order to get the multiplied values at once, you should have to press Control and Shift, and at the same time you should have to say Enter. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So let me select the second one. Say comma. Yeah. mmelt. You are selecting this one. Comma. Proceed to the h value here after comma. Should have to provide this one. Yes. Come up with this one. Come up with our task. Then press Ctrl plus Shift. Say Enter. Now you are multiplying the transpose of h with the original value of h. Okay, this is a way. This is a way how to multiply a matrix. And the second thing here is if you are obtaining this this value, we are obtaining this value, and the other thing is you should have to multiply h transpose with q. Yeah, h transpose with q. Here you should have to multiply this h h transpose times q, but you should have to come up with a q value from this one. Let me take q values here from this one. Those are the converted values. Should have to work on that. Copy, come up with here, and let me paste the values of q here. This is q value. Okay, for more clarity, let me insert one row. Okay, so we have this. As you know that this h transpose is a 9 by 10 matrix. This one is actually 9 by 10 matrix, and times q is 10 by 1 matrix. So finally we can get at 9 by 1 matrix. Yeah, then 9 by 1 matrix. Yeah, our matrix will be this one. Therefore, in order to do that, you should have to select 9 places here, 9 cells at the in the down arrow. You can check at the top and say equals mmelt of the first is h transpose. You should have to proceed with h transpose here. Okay, you can select in such a way, comma, and q is here, available here. You should have to select in such a way. You should have to close this as well. Then Control plus Shift plus Enter. Now you can have this transpose by q that has a 9 by 1 matrix. Okay, and finally we have this u. Yeah, finally you can have u here, u. So u is this h transpose. You don't have the inverse value. Actually, you should have to work on h inverse. You should have done the inverse of the matrix. Okay, you should have okay, let me no matter, let me work here the inverse of this one. Copy. Okay, I should have to do the inverse of this one before. Okay, let me say as this one. So the inverse of this matrix is actually similar. That's a 9 by 9 matrix. Yeah, so sorry, so let us select a 9 by 9 matrix here. This one equals, in order to know the determine the inverse of the matrix, m inverse. You can have this matrix inverse here, the matrix inverse of this value, this one. Yes, should have to select in such a way. Yeah, close the bracket, then Control plus Shift plus Enter. So we have this one. This is the inverse of the matrix, the inverse of this H transpose times H. And finally we have U. Here U is this H transpose times H inverse times this one. Yeah, you can get from this one times the first one is this H transpose times H inverse times H transpose times Q. So let us multiply that value. So actually this one is 9 by 9 matrix, 9 by 1 matrix, and 9 by 9. So finally we have this actually the H transpose by H transpose times H inverse is 9 by 9 matrix. Okay, that means here you can have 9 by 9, and the other is Q. H transpose by Q is this means I think 9 by 10, 9 by 1 matrix, 9 by 1 matrix. So finally we can get 9 by 1 matrix here, 9 by 1 matrix. That means I should have to select 9 cells here. Yeah, then equals mmelt. mmelt of the first thing here is you should have to select H transpose times H inverse, this one, then comma, the other is H transpose times Q, this value. Okay, close the bracket, and then control plus shift plus enter, and now we have this U, or the ordinates of the unit hydrograph. These are the values, and we have this. And if you have an interest to plot it, if you have an interest to to see the graph, can proceed and see in such a way. So this is the unit hydrograph. Okay, which is a unit hydrograph, and so on is actually can insert these titles as this is a Q, yeah, or you can say U at time t. Okay, and this is the time here. All right, so we can have from an isolated storm using such methods. Okay, and I hope this tutorial will assist you on generating a unit hydrograph from isolated storm using a matrix methods of these matrix computations in such a way. I hope it is very nice and interesting topic. And if you have any questions, please provide or put your comment under the comment section. I will forward with answers if I can. Okay, and it is all about today's tutorial, and have a nice time for today. Bye. Thank you.